Derby County have made a new signing, and his name is Rohan Luthra. He has signed on a free transfer after I believe he left Cardiff City in the summer at the expiration of his contract. Now, this has caused a few problems within the Derby County fan base. A lot of people aren't particularly happy with the signing after a recent performance versus Chesterfield when he was on trial with the club. Now, I think a lot of people, and I said this on Twitter last night, I believe a lot of people are oblivious to how important taking up this role is. And I think Luthra, I don't think people understand what role he's taken up. Obviously, if you look at it right now, it looks like he's going to be our backup goalkeeper. But if you look at the bigger picture, the discussions with Zetterstrom, the talks about two other keepers that Paul Warne is potentially looking at, it becomes a bit more important of why Derby County have signed Luthra. You also then have to look at the likes of Jack Thompson and Harry Evans, two highly rated goalkeepers coming through the Derby County Academy. Now, Harry Evans is currently injured, unfortunately, so obviously he can't go out on loan right now, but Jack Thompson has gone out on loan to, I believe, Kettering Town, which I think is an absolutely massive play. Now, that is only possible because of the signing of Rohan Luthra. I think it's an absolutely important, impressive deal for the club. You look at, obviously, last season, the role that Luthra is going to step into was what Scott Loach was doing. Now, obviously, Scott Loach, more experienced, helping out with the academy, things like that. But Luthra won't be doing the helping out of the academy. He won't be sort of the more experienced head in the pack. But he'll make sure that Harry Evans can go out and play football. He'll make sure that Jack Thompson can go out and play senior men's football, which is absolutely pivotal to their development at this level of their careers. Obviously, Jack Thompson and Harry Evans, I believe, are both on professional contracts now, which I think is obviously massively important for the club because both of those players have been subject to interest from elsewhere over recent seasons, especially during our administration year. Now, do I think Luthra is going to play any part in Derby County's season? I think, personally, depending on how quickly the Zetterstrom deal gets done, he may play versus Chesterfield. Do I think that's a guarantee? No. I think there's quite easily a possibility that Vickers will just play every game up until either Zetterstrom or another goalkeeper comes, in my personal opinion. So it's one of those for me. But for me, do I think Luthra is an amazing goalkeeper? No. But I'm led to believe he's only 22 years old. Now, most goalkeepers don't peak until like their late 20s, early 30s. So he still has a lot of developing to do and he's got a lot of learning to do. And do I think that he'll be Derby County's first choice keeper in the future? Probably not. Do I think he'll be at Derby past this season? Probably not. But what Derby have to do is make sure that their young players are able to succeed. You look at last season, obviously, Derby let Dejan Brown out on loan. And what an impressive loan spell that was. Now, I think we need to do that a lot more for a lot of the other youngsters. Like, you look at the likes of Darren Robinson, Ben Radcliffe, Niall McAndrew, Cruz Allen. I want to see all those players go out on loan and get first team minutes in a senior environment. Now, does that mean they should go and play League 2 straight away? No, they can go to the National League. They can go to National League South. Like, they can go lower than that if, like, that's what the club think is necessary. And I know that the club have done deals like that in the past where players have gone out to, like, step 4, step 3 teams and things like that. And, like, I do think it's massively important that we utilise those clubs for Derby County because obviously a lot of them are part-time. So these academy players can train at Derby and then train with them. Obviously managing load and stuff like that to make sure that they're not, like, ruining themselves. But you can still keep up the Derby County progression as well as training with a semi-professional team. Or obviously, depending, like a lot of teams in National League now are professional. So those loan spells are important because they can go and be in a professional environment. So for me, I think this Luthra deal is one of the best deals of this summer. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County and EFL Championship and League One videos that are going to be heading your way over the course of the upcoming season. My Game Week 1 previews are already out, so make sure you go and check that one out. back on my channel. Not because he's going to have massive impact on the pitch, but because of the impact he'll have off the pitch for those youngsters. Obviously, it also opens the door for, obviously, Harry Evans can go and be number one for the 21s, like, to get back fit before heading out on loan. Jack Thompson has obviously already gone out on loan. So for me, it's a massive deal for the club. It's a massive deal for the youngsters. And I just think people need to, like, open their eyes a little bit to how important these deals are. Obviously, we went through a period at Derby County where we wouldn't sign players in certain positions that we needed players because of a youngster that could break through. Like, you go back to the Max Bird breakthrough year under Philip Cocu. I think we signed Bielik, and that was really it in the centre of the park. And I think we needed more than that at the time. But obviously, we bought in Bielik for, I think it was around £10 million if we hit all the add-ons and stuff like that, which I still don't think we did. But then obviously Bird broke through anyway. So I think if you've got a young player that's good enough to break through, they'll break through no matter who's in the way. I think one of the problems we have at the minute with Dejan Brown is we have 4 strikers at the club in Jerry Yates, James Collins, Connor Washington and Brown. And whereabouts is Paul Warne? Is Paul Warne, ranking Dejan Brown? Is he, like, third choice? So if Yates is out, Collins is in, is Brown then the option off the bench? Or is Brown sort of, like, we know he's there, we know he can play, but he's not really going to get an opportunity. In that situation, I think Brown needs to go out on loan. But obviously, with the situation we have at the moment, we haven't bought in another striker, which then means that Dejan Brown can't go out on loan because Paul Warne probably then thinks, oh, well, if we need to play a 2 up front, we don't have 4 strikers. So it's going to be very interesting for me. But I think this Luthra deal is amazing. As I've just said, opens up so many doors for those young goalkeepers, even other young goalkeepers at the club below Evans and Thompson. Like, you think about it this way. If Evans and Thompson are both out on loan, you've then probably got the 18s goalkeeper stepping up to play 21s football, which then increases his development. You've probably then got an 18s keeper that wasn't playing, able to play all the time, and a 16s keeper stepping up to help out when necessary. So I just think there's a lot to this deal that people don't acknowledge and recognise, and I think it was really important to make this video to talk about how these deals work and what could happen behind the scenes with Derby County with this deal. Now, obviously, Derby County, if they bring in a striker, we can do the same for Dejan Brown. If we bring in a midfielder, we could probably let Forner go, or let Darren Robinson go out on loan, or a Ben Radcliffe go out on loan, because obviously then you lighten up the load in that midfield area for the need in the first team. Now, I think loan spells are massively important. I think if you look at, obviously, the careers of like Max Bird, Louis Sibley, Jason Knight, Whitaker, Lee Buchanan, who else came through but didn't have a loan spell? Festi didn't have a loan spell. Plange didn't have a loan spell. Ebioe didn't have a loan spell. You look at all those players that broke through, obviously through differing circumstances. Obviously Cashin as well, another player who came through without having like a proper loan spell away from the club. And I just think that unless they're good enough to start every week and you're like guaranteed that they're going to get minutes, I think you should go out on loan. Like, and this is my thought on Dejan Brown. I don't think he's going to start many games this season. He may play the cup games. He may even get 20 odd minutes off the bench in the Championship every now and again. But I'd rather him be playing 60, 70 minutes for a League 2 side than playing 20 minutes for us in the odd cup game. So you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in that comment section on what you think about the Luthra deal, how it impacts the club. Let me know what your thoughts are about that, about Harry Evans, Jack Thompson going out on loan to obviously aid their development. But yeah, make sure you've hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the notification bell and smash the like button, and I'll catch you in my next video. Be sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.